Hello, grade 12s. I'm back again to continue with our lesson. The last time we spoke about uterine cycle, and we said we are going to discuss uterine cycle and the menstruation, but we couldn't manage to discuss menstruation. But I'll do a recap of what we're doing on our lesson. So if you look at, remember we said that we have a hormone called estrogen. And that hormone is the one that is assisting in making endometrium thicker, glandular and muscular. So we then said that while that hormone is doing that, later on the egg is released from the Graafian follicle through the process called ovulation. So that whole process whereby estrogen is preparing the endometrium by supplying it with blood, making it thicker, muscular and glandular. That happens. Thereafter, when this is done, then ovulation takes place. Ovulation. Remember, ovulation is the release of what? Of the egg from the matured follicle, which is called Graafian follicle. Then once that egg is released to the fallopian tubes, it waits for the sperm to come in through the vagina during copulation or sexual intercourse. So when the sperms come in, then they infuse the egg, or they fertilize the egg. Then that is called a zygote forms. Now, if we talk about menstruation cycle, I want you to pay attention to this. Remember, uterine cycle is whereby the uterus is being pumped with blood by the help of estrogen in order to prepare for what? For fertilization. If it takes place, then the zygote or the baby will be implanted into the what? Into the endometrium. But the baby is not really the right word. But the zygote that develops to the end product of that is called embryo. So it's attached to the endometrium as embryo. Now, let's assume that fertilization doesn't take place. If fertilization doesn't take place, remember, the blood has been pumped by what? By estrogen. Pumping it to where? Pumping to the endometrium, making it what? Thicker, muscular and glandular. So this place already is prepared for what? For implantation. Let me just make this example. What happens if you expect visitors in your house and the visitors do not come and you've already prepared food, but the food that you have prepared for those visitors, you can't put it in the fridge. The only option that you have is to eat that food. And you stay alone and you're expecting maybe 3 or 5 people that were going to visit you, and they don't come. You have no one to give that food to. What's the right thing to do? You throw away that food. I understand it's a waste. You spent your time preparing, you spent your time doing all the work that you did in order for you to serve your visitors. But it happened that, coronavirus, there was a rule or a law that was given to all of us that you mustn't visit each other. What do you do with that food? You end up throwing it away. So that's the same thing that happens on the endometrium. So if the baby doesn't come, let's assume the baby to be the visitor. If the baby doesn't come, or the embryo doesn't come to attach itself in the endometrium, what will happen? Now, this is going to be easier to be understood by the ladies because they go through this thing that I'm going to explain. Now, the baby doesn't come. You know, you don't sleep around, you're a good lady. Now, let's say the baby doesn't come. What is going to happen? Fertilization doesn't take place because you didn't engage in sexual intercourse. Now, the endometrium is prepared already. So this is what is going to happen. This endometrium will tear off. How so? Endometrium will tear off. Remember, now this is for menstruation. Menstruation. For menstruation. Menstruation. Remember that the endometrium has been prepared. It's thicker, it's muscular and it's glandular. Now, what is going to happen? The endometrium, what is going to happen to endometrium? It will degenerate. That is why you will hear ladies saying that they have period pains. Why? That thick muscular and glandular endometrium, it starts what? Tearing off. It's starting breaking into pieces. And if you will tell me as a lady that when you go through menstruation, it's not liquid blood that comes out. It's blood that has clots. It's blood that has been thick, that has been muscular, that has been glandular. So if you talk about the menstruation is whereby fertilization didn't take place on the fallopian tubes, but endometrium was already prepared by what? By the blood that has been pumped into the walls. Now, because fertilization didn't take place, there is no baby to be implanted. Then menstruation started to take place. How does menstruation take place? It starts by tearing off, by the endometrium degenerating and the clots coming off. That's why if you can recall, many people, they go through menstruation for 3 days, 1 to 3 or 5, but to some it even takes them 7 days or more. It depends on the person. But in normal cases, it's 1 to 3 days or 1 to 4 days. Now, what happens is this. Menstruation is all about this blood that has been pumped by who? By estrogen. It's all about that blood coming off. Like that food that you have prepared, you have to go outside and throw it away. And it's not nice when you're throwing your food, you have bought that food, you have spent time to prepare that food for your visitor. So it's the same thing that happens if you talk about menstruation. Menstruation is a process whereby the blood that has been pumped to the endometrium is being degenerated or is being teared off, and then it comes out through the vagina, and that is called menstruation process. So guys, I hope you understand everything. I will be expecting questions to those that may have questions. God bless you. All the best.